Howdy, Banger pals. Blaine Smith welcoming you to another Overkill Reviews, Banger's weekly metal review show. I know you've been seeing a lot of me lately, but don't worry, the next video is not Blaine, and the video after that's not Blaine. I'm back for a bit after that, and then there'll be less Blaine and then more Blaine. Yeah, look, there's just a lot of death metal that's been coming out, so what are we gonna do? Not cover it? Speaking of a lot of death metal, here's some more death metal. Yes, NECROT released Lifeless Birth last Friday, April 12th on Tank Crimes. While NECROT would form in 2011 in Oakland, California, it wouldn't be until 2017 that they'd release their first full length. But boy, what a release it would be. And if you look back on the 2016-2017 class of old school death metal revival, things were nuts. And it can really be seen as sort of the coming out party for the movement. Within 12 months, you got Tomb Mold, Blood Incantation, Gate Creeper, and of course, NECROT. Blood Offerings was an instant classic and pushed NECROT to the front of the line. Their 2020 follow-up continued their winning ways. So, will their third elevate them to franchise player, or are we going to be sitting here talking about practice? We don't need to bury the lead. There's no surprises here. NECROT still kill it. I don't know if they could ever truly fuck up a record because the base they laid down with Blood Offerings is just pure bedrock. They really secured their future there. It's like they bought 10 rental homes before they were 30. If you don't own 10 rental homes before you're 30. Sorry, I got possessed. Anyways, Cut the Cord that I played for you off the top opens the album so strongly, and things really never dip below that quality line. There is a bit of an interesting structure going on with the album, with the first 3 tracks all sort of being single-type material, just really solid old-school death metal with a catchy chorus before Drill the Skull introduces a pretty major tempo shift, and we get a bit more experimentation as the album sort of unfurls for you until you get to 8.5-minute closer, The Curse, which is much less skin-calling to sit through than the TV show The Curse. God, I love Nathan Fielder, but God, he makes me want to anxiety vomit all over myself. Whew, it's even worse when it's scripted. Oh my God. It's still a more straight-faced old-school death metal offering. Don't think they're going off on the tangents that some of their contemporaries are, but it's just nice to see NECROT get out of their comfort zone a little bit. The thing that's really leaping off the page, is page right? Is page good? Really leaping off the grooves? Really leaping off the MP3 file? I don't know. The thing that's really contributing to the record's feel is just a noticeable effort to craft more unique solos by Luca and Sonny. Not that I had any issues with their solos in the past. It's just that these are some real attention stealers, and they definitely deserve some pats on the back, as there's no way this wasn't a deliberate, intentional effort to level these things up, and it 100% paid off. When I think about the album after a listen, it's generally me wistfully remembering a solo. Not that Chad doesn't deserve his miladies here either. Living up to his name from Drill the Skull on, things get a little more albumy, and he's the real driver of that with the aforementioned added diversity to tempos, giving it that elevated album feel instead of just a collection of songs. So everybody was hitting the gym, everybody was working on their fitness, and thumbs up, everybody. Thanks for putting in the work. You did great. Of course, I'm not going to let you leave without playing one of those solos, though. Holy fuck, those are rippers, bud. Of course, I'm not going to let you leave without telling you about our Patreon campaign. Yes, we have a Patreon campaign. You can head over to Patreon. You can give us a couple of bucks. It gives us the money to make these, and then we just get to make them instead of having to ask like a VPN to give us money to make these. And then I got to explain to you how a VPN works, and you know. You don't really know how a VPN works, but you have one, and you turn it on, and it does its thing. So head on over to Patreon, give us a couple bucks. And as a reminder, if you like me, you can follow me at twitch.tv/mortalcomedy. And I'm selling some stuff over on my merch store. Head on over to my Instagram, and you can see what's going on with that. In that 2016-2017 crop of releases, each had their own particular reason for standing out. NECROT's was for just being the most pure expression of old school death metal. Since then, everyone has gone down the path you'd sort of expect from them, with NECROT staying on that straight and narrow. The difficulty that they face as a result is because they helped kick off a movement, there now are a lot of bands doing this. Like, a lot. As a result, NECROT have the least unique identity, and if you're looking for something like new and exciting, you're not going to find it on this record. I did kind of hope by record 3 they would have blazed a trail and kind of be ruling over their own corner of the scene, and while there are certainly signs they're on their way, they haven't quite made it there yet. The weird thing is I can clone my last section and spin it positive, and it does still work. There are now a lot of bands doing this, like a lot. Like a lot. So there are significantly more bands to compare with and find out, are NECROT really that good, or were they just making something we were hungry for? And yeah, they are that good. Time flies when you're listening to Lifeless Birth, and they are walking a center line here. Maybe it's less a record that doesn't experiment and more an expert tightrope walk, because it has both individual tracks that bang and an atmosphere album feel to it. They managed to sound both like a big hyped up band on their third record, but avoid all the pitfalls and still sound cool and underground at the same time. And there are no stinkers here. Nothing your finger is hovering over the next button on. Just 7 songs of bulletproof quality. And hey, maybe that's enough. With all their classmates branching out, maybe it's good to have a true north to return to. And there are still, like I said, some seeds here. The Curse closes things out sounding almost Hooded Menacey, so who knows what the future holds. Boom. This comes down to how much do you love old school death metal. If you're all about the stuff and don't need a record cut with anything to pique your interest, then this is an easy buy. There's a difference between playing it safe and just playing it well, and NECROT play the style real well. There's enough new on here to justify a new album, and it's all up to the high standards set by the previous 2 hits. And if you need that last little extra bump, that super unique cover by Marlon Van Hasteren ain't hurting things neither. So I give it 4 out of 5 classic overkill skulls, because there ain't nothing wrong with a classic, baby. We don't always need to put a twist on it. Of course, I have 4 more records for you because, as I said, April is absolutely stacked. So this Friday, April 19th, when these release, make sure you pick up Uttertomb, Nebulas of Self-Desecration on Pulverized Records. That's just some more straight-ahead death metal. Fantastic. Mære is releasing And the Universe Keeps Silent on Transcending Obscurity. That's some blackened death metal. Nuclear Tomb is releasing Terror Labyrinthian on An Everlasting Spew. That's some, like, thrashy death metal. And the great Bongripper is back with Empty on the Great Barrier Records. That'll mix things up for you. That's some sludge, get you out of the death metal zone. So those are 4 more records. What do you think of NECROT? Are they still living up to your expectations? Are you loving the new record? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for hanging out, gang. Peace out.